Today we're talking about a very common question that we get as it relates to being charged with a crime in a bar. In many situations, somebody will be at a bar, they will be charged with an assault, a disorderly conduct, some sort of a criminal damage offense, and the key witness, the only person who is really involved, is the bouncer at a bar. So not another patron, not a friend or somebody who was also at the scene, but the actual bouncer, somebody who worked for the establishment. They are going to be the key witness. So what happens in that situation? Is this person going to show up to trial? Is this person going to be very eager to testify against you? We're going to talk about some of those factors. So as you can see here, I've diagrammed a picture of the typical Scottsdale bouncer. You can see I have him in blue. This is somebody who you can see obviously spends too much time working on their biceps at the gymnasium. This is somebody who cares about kind of having a lot of the activity, a lot of the fun. They're out there to get a little bit of an adrenaline rush. This is kind of my totally subjective observation of how these bouncers are. They're out there looking to kind of rough somebody up. That's just kind of the general disposition of them. Amped up, full of adrenaline, love to work out. This is something where we see this as typical behavior, but it's not everybody, okay? There are bouncers who are certainly there looking to just do their job, go home, and have a good night. But what happens when this bouncer sees something that happens and they get involved? They are somebody who is the recipient of getting hit. They are the recipient of some damage. They tackle somebody, they break up a fight, something happens, and the bouncer is the key witness. So the police come, they arrest the other individual, the bouncer gets listed as the victim of the crime. A couple things. Well, number one, you can imagine that the bouncer at this particular establishment, or most establishments, sees these types of altercations over and over and over again, all night long. And so if they are going to be responding to every single violation, every single subpoena, and going to court on cases as they come through, they're going to be in court as much as we are. They would have to go to many, many cases where they're the victim. So they just generally don't show up. This is kind of a general rule. The other reason why they don't show up to trial, they don't get paid to do that, all right? You have to remember, an officer who works for the government, they get paid to go to court. They get paid to come in and testify. They have a financial incentive to be there, and they also have some sort of disciplinary problems in many cases if they don't actually move forward through their cases. So what happens is, if there's a person A and person B and person C and person D, and then you have the bouncer, and all of these other people are listed in the police report, some of them may show up, some of them may not. If person A hits person D and person D feels sort of, it has an integrity violation, he feels like I was wronged, I feel like I want to go to court, I have a personal vendetta against A, they'll go to court. But in general, in most cases, the bouncer just doesn't have that kind of personal feeling for it. They really don't want to be going to court a whole lot. They don't get paid to go to court. And so in general, as a general rule of thumb, you can kind of err on the side that these guys are not going to be showing up to testify. So if somebody's been charged with a crime, one person, person A, and the only victim in the case is the bouncer, it's unlikely that the bouncer is going to show up to testify against A, specifically if it's something minor, something like a minor disorderly conduct or something where it's a minor assault where there was just some minor touching and the whole thing was basically a kind of a breakup and call the police type of a situation. The bouncer may not have any personal animus towards that other person. They just may say, look, I was there doing my job. I'm just going to break up the fight. We'll move on to the next case. They'll be back there the next day. Most cases, as you can understand, they take about 3 to 4 months. So if you're charged with a misdemeanor like criminal damage, assault, disorderly conduct, it's going to take 3 or 4 months. So the bouncer is going to have some time to cool down a little bit. And by the time the case goes to trial, they may not be a cooperative witness. If they're not a cooperative witness, the government doesn't have much more to go on. So I hope that helps. If you've been charged with a crime and you believe the bouncer was the only person who was involved, the only person who can testify you or who is the named victim in the police report, you may want to give our office a call. We can tell you how to strategize and make sure that you can get your case dealt with appropriately. We offer free case evaluations and look forward to meeting with you. Take care. Thanks for watching.